Home is Here on PBS Hawaiʻi is sponsored by Hawaii Leadership Forum, HEI, the Olson Trust, and Peisha Hawaii.
Aloha, I'm Kala'i Miller. Welcome to Home is Here. Hawaii has long had a special connection to the world of sumo, producing some of the sport's most legendary champions. Today, a new generation is learning the traditions and techniques of the sport and taking with them a fighting spirit that goes far beyond the ring.
Aloha State Sumo Association is we're a nonprofit that teaches kids the spirit of sumo. So what is sumo? So the basics of sumo, there's about 74 moves. And the objective is basically you're going to be in a circle that's 16 feet in diameter. You either have to push a person out or make anything else but the soles of his feet touch the inside of the mat. You do that, you win. That's a simple premise behind it. Now, how you get to do that, that's the part that is really dynamic. When we start sumo, when the kids come in for the first time, there's a lot of calisthenics. What we'll do is we start with shko. One of the basics of sumo, and it's going to be the sumo squats. Lifting the leg for balance, coming down. So we usually start with between around 200 or so of those. So after that, we'll do suriyashi, which is basically going to be the sliding of the feet. It's almost like shadow boxing, but it's going to be just them just going across the ring, get a feel for the ring. They're doing a lot of work. Sometimes it might seem a little monotonous, repetitions, but they're getting comfortable at being uncomfortable.
When I first started, it was rough for me because I didn't know any technique or anything. The exercises were hard. My legs, after the first day, I feel like I couldn't move my legs.
The first time I did sumo, it was really hard and tough just because my body wasn't used to doing certain movement, like stretching out like that. It was hard and kind of draining the first time.
So once they're doing all the motions, then we might go through some of the different techniques. Then what we'll do is we'll do matches. And so that's a real big learning process for them because it's not necessarily a natural thing for kids just to kind of step off the street who have no experience with that type of combat to be able to be one-on-one. But everybody off the get-go, we always learn to go forward first. The tachiai, the initial charge, is going to be 70 to 80% of the matches is going to come off of a very good tachiai. So you're going to be able to hit the person off the tachiai, whether you're going to just be grabbing belt and forcing them out, you're going to be pushing the person out. There's different throws. Mwashi is the belt that goes around their waist. It acts as not just as a support, but it also gives a person the ability to grab onto the belt.
Most people like at school, everybody's like, bro, my mom showed me you on Facebook, and then they were like, do you have to wear the diaper? It's not even that bad. It kind of just feels like a belt.
When I tell my friends when I do sumo, they thought it was cool, but at the same time, weird, because then your skin is showing and stuff, and you don't have any clothes on.
For some of the kids that come in, they don't like to take their shirt off. They might have a negative image of themselves if they're younger kids or if they're teased or this and that. So first thing to do, they come in, kind of look around, all the kids just take off their shirts. And then next thing you know, next day they come in all the time. Shirts off, they're getting together, working together. It doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter if they're a boy, they're a girl. They're both going to be wrestling together, and they're able to lift each other up. So those are these small things, small values that they can take with them.
For me, being the only girl, or not the only girl, but one of the only girls in the sumo ring, it's not really that bad because, genders don't really matter. In practices, they treat girls the same as boys, so it's girls against boys and not just girls against girls or boys against boys. So it's not that different. Definitely here, advantage in sumo would be like when I'm going up against someone new, they don't really expect much, so I have like the element of surprise. When you go up against like really strong guys, you don't expect like a girl to like be so like physical with you, and they probably wouldn't expect that. So it's an advantage for them to kind of underestimate me.
Since before COVID, we've been invited to go to Japan and compete in the Hakuhai Cup, which is a championship basically from, they might have some first graders all the way up to middle school. And so when they were invited, they're the only US team. There's no weight classes, it's by grade. So like last year, one of our athletes, the older ones, Killian, he had to fight against a really big kid. He might have been, kind of close to 400 pounds, a little bit less than 200 kilos from Ukraine.
Stepping into the ring, at first, I get a little nervous. I kind of size up whoever my opponent is, just trying to check them out, see if they're big, they're going to use their weight. If they're skinny, they're going to be more technique, and I kind of have to try to counter that. As soon as I step up to the middle, I think my mind kind of goes blank. I just feel that I have to do this, and like it doesn't really matter if I get hit or if I get hurt. I kind of have to try not to worry about that, and I kind of just have to finish through.
Size will give you an advantage. Is it the only advantage? No. It's not the whole package.
For me, I'm obviously not that big, and I hope to always go against bigger people. Sumo has taught me to never give up. No matter who you're up against, whether they're bigger or smaller, taller or shorter, to just keep going at it.
The resiliency is a real big point. We want these kids to be able to, they got to be able to, even in the ring, they're going to lose, they get knocked down, they got to get back up. They cannot get back up and then go dig out. They got to get back up, they got to go, and they got to bow at the very end. Right? Whether they lose or whether they win, you're going to see the countenance of their face does not change. Right? They're not stomping, they're not swearing. They fight as hard as they can, they leave it in the ring. Whether they win or whether they lose, you shouldn't be able to tell. That's the respect. We've been able to train at Musashi Gaobeya, which is the stable of Musashi Maru, former Yokozuna, now Oyakata, now the boss of Musashi Gaobeya. So stable is going to be the place where everyone trains. So it's the building where they train, they sleep, the athletes sleep, the boss sleeps. It's all in one area, one building. So when we say stable or when we say the bear, that area, that's what we're talking about.
Learning from Musashi Maru was like the real deal, because it was super intense, first of all. And I could tell that like his disciples, they were just super toned with everything. I was just watching them, because it's super amazing how they're such big dudes, but they can move gymnasts.
They've trained the kids, they've fed the kids, which has been an amazing experience for everyone involved, including the parents who, like me, have always been idolized a lot of these Yokozuna and Ozeki. They've been able to train with, speaking of Ozekis, the famed Kunishiki, and he is larger than life. And when I mean that, I mean his heart. His heart is always giving to these kids. And I love that guy. And they've always to a T, been so supportive of the kids. And that's the part where, it really brings, tears just to see hey, this is amazing that they're taking time out of their busy day, busy schedule of everything that they're doing. They're dropping everything for you guys. The travel, all that's fun. That's only the icing on the cake. I think if they have a firm foundation in hard work, again, being comfortable, being uncomfortable, how to handle hardships better, how to be able to take what life is going to throw at them and be able to move through that, always moving forward. Those are big things that I really hope that they learn, they take with them, and that spirit, that passion, that fighting spirit, for whatever sport that they're going to be doing, for that test that they're going to be taking, for whatever obstacle that's going to be placed in front of them, for them to just attack it and move through it and have that grit to be able to make those adjustments and keep moving forward. And if they can do those things, then, you know, this success will be abundant for them.
Mahalo for joining us. If you would like to help PBS Hawaiʻi continue to preserve and share these important stories, please consider donating by going to pbshawaii.org and clicking on the Donate Now button. For Home is Here, I'm Kala'i Miller. Ahui ho.